just a wee bit east of the tiny village of Drumnadroghit, Inverness, Scotland, on the shores of Loch Ness, one of the most infamous and mysterious bodies of water on earth, stands Urquhart Castle. Built in the early 13th century, Urquhart served for nearly 500 years as the active residence of one Scottish clan or another. I had the great good fortune of sailing the waters of Loch Ness and visiting this ancient relic. Aye, there you see me standing on the pier under Grant Tower, fishing for Scottish salmon. The lessons I uncovered that day at Urquhart were deep indeed, far more important than the fact that the fish dinna bite, and the fish dinna bite. Nay, lads and lassies, Urquhart held lessons far more profound, and I'd like to share them with you right now. Welcome to a better you in a minute or two. Hi, Dr. John, welcome back. And I'm sure you're wondering what the ruins of an ancient castle in the Highlands of Scotland have to do with creating a more empowered life for you. And it's a very good question. So let's talk a little bit about castles. Now, I don't know what you know about castles, but my vision was always something like this, probably from the books and the movies I've seen. I thought that someone found a nice piece of land. They had a little bit of money, so they built this beautiful castle, go out and find a princess, they get married, have a bunch of kids, and have a few jousting tournaments, do some hunting and fishing, slay a few dragons, and live happily ever after in their castle until someone invents electricity and central heat, and then they move to the burbs. Well, that's not the case. What I found out at Urquhart, because that's the first real castle I've ever been to, is that someone found a piece of land that someone had already lived on, by the way. They built that castle on the ruins of an ancient medieval dwelling. So it wasn't the first time someone said, what a great piece of property. Anyway, someone built a castle, they found a princess, they got married, and they did all those things, hunting and fishing and jousting tournaments and sitting up on the parapets, sipping Rob Roy's, waiting for Nessie to show up. And everything was great until one day someone came by and said, oh, what a nice castle. I'd like to own that. And they had a tussle, and the folks that were in there got kicked out. Now, they didn't want to leave. In fact, when the folks that wanted to move in said, why don't you just leave? They said, nay, we're not leaving. We like it just the way it is. And of course, there was this tussle, as I mentioned. They get kicked out, and the new people moved in. Now, they lived happily ever after, doing all those things that people who live in castles do, until someone else came along and said, oh, what a bonny castle, let's take it. And there was another tussle and another scrap, because they didn't want to leave either. They liked things just the way it was. But after a scrap, the invading army almost always has more power and more resources. They got kicked out. The new people moved in, and the same thing happened again, and again, and again, and again, for nearly 500 years, until the late 1700s, when someone invented electricity and central heat, and they abandoned the place, and it sits as it is today. I don't know about the electricity and central heat. The point is, and what I learned as we were looking at this incredible building, was that it represented human life in a beautifully metaphorical way. Our lives are a process. Nothing stays the same. Change is the only constant. And everybody that resists change, the people who suffer the most, are the ones that try to keep things just the way they are. Or even worse, try to go back to the way things were. I know a bunch of those clans, when we read the history, tried to come back and take it over again. It never ever worked. The people that lived there made the castle stronger and they were more powerful, and so it was just this never-ending thing. So the moral to the tale of Urquhart Castle is this: change is inevitable. You can resist it and really suffer, or lad, you can embrace it. You can empower your life. And if you're having a wee bit of challenge with that, call the number on your screen. I'm here to help you make it happen. Because remember, always, it's all about a better you. So, cheerio the new, which is Scottish for so long. See you next time.